it's going to be easier to find a secular girl who's good and quality and all that and convert her than it is for you to find a prepackaged Christian girl, because the vast majority of people in the church are not Christians. They're posing.
Today we have a special guest coming on. An honor to have him on the show. We got the man, the myth, the legend. He has a new book out where he's cooking the trad cucks. Cooking the trad cucks, okay? He has noticed, I think as a young man, noticed the cucking of Christianity. It's amazing now because it's on the internet. But guys, before the internet, these men would just marry these virgin women. And never find out. You should be happy we have the internet. Or maybe you'd be happier because you'd never know. I don't know, like, what's better, to live a lie? Know the truth or live a lie? I don't know, red pill, blue pill. I mean, that's the question, right? All right, we got the man, the myth, the legend. We got Cappy. Welcome to the show.
How old do you think I am? Back in the day when we sacrificed goats and we'd marry our virgin bride after making
40?
a sacrifice to the volcano.
40?
I'm 51.
Oh, yeah. So I'm 40, 50? Yeah. So
I'm old. I actually, there's been enough time. I do remember the olden days before the internet. And yes, the cheating and the philandering was going on back then. I am a preacher's kid. I got to see behind the church, and it wasn't so much the cheating and the philandering. I mean, that happened, but I would say just what a high percentage of, quote, Christians who go to church aren't Christians. That was back in the 80s and the 70s. People go there out of rote rehearsal or boredom or some ulterior motive. And it does not surprise me now that you throw on the internet and the prospects and the finance and the profit that could come from whatever influencing or social media. Oh my God, I'm a cute girl. Like, that's only added fuel to the fire. But the foundations and the makings for it, they've always been there with humanity. Now it's just turned up to 12 once you throw the internet on there.
I want to do a live debate and a meet and greet in your city. The problem is I don't have any of your contact information, nor do I know what city you guys are in. So make sure you fill out the form in the description. Just click, it's a Google form, the link's in the description, so we can contact you when we have an event in your city. Thanks, guys. Can you tell me about your book?
Yeah, it was not meant. I did not time this with Sarah Stock or Elijah Wood or Elijah Schaefer.
You should have made them the cover.
I didn't know. The book came out. Old man Roll got on the horn and he kindly told me, hey, do you know what's going on? I'm like, I don't know these people or anything like that. He says, but your timing's great. So yeah, I did write a book. It's called I Don't Want a Threesome with Jesus. And it's basically a secularist. I'm not religious, but I do not have my hand tied behind my back where I can speak blunt truths. And it's kind of a pro-sex book for Christians. Like, no, sex is good. No, you shouldn't be ashamed about it. Here's what the biblical passage is. Generally, it's a big green light for you to go and have sex. But the main reason I wanted to write it is because I think you remember maybe a month or two ago where all these gals, the ones that you're highlighting today, using Christianity as a means to advance their social media presence. And, oh my God, men are bad. We're going to introduce feminism just to create chaos and drama and get themselves some followers and make some money. I wanted to expose that, especially in particular, I guess we'd consider it the modern day church, or certainly the modern day marketplace of ideas for Christianity, which is the internet, which is of all things, and show that no, these mainstream influencers that you see that claim to be Christian, I'm going to accuse the men of it too. They're not real Christians. This is just a freaking act. This is just a show. How many of them might be Christian light and have some tangential relationship to Christ? Sure, fine, maybe. But most of these people, the real God is just getting attention, getting traffic, making money, making a podcast, and using Christianity as a means to do it. And so now this is the latest one. Don't worry, there will be more. I don't know how many of your false gods have got, but this is the latest one to prove to you that it was all an act. I doubt she's Christian. It was just shtick. And to help, especially now with young Christian men, you want to find, excuse me for a second. You want to find yourself a nice, pretty Christian wife. Well, here are all these pretty girls, and oh my God, they're not Christian. So it's an important lesson to teach all those younger guys out there looking for traditional wife, or especially within Christianity, that no, what you see on the internet is fake. And by a larger extent, a lot of what you see on the internet is fake, or unrelated to Christianity.
I've noticed that, no offense to your dad, I'm not saying he was in this, but I've noticed a lot of pastors are just not smart enough to get real jobs. And preachers.
Pearl, I want to hug you. I've never met you, but I want to hug you.
Because I met one, like someone studying to be one, and he told me that working like 40 hours a week was too much. And I'm like, and then now he was gonna go be a pastor, and I'm like, I think he might just not want to work.
You're 100% right. The vast majority of people, it's like politicians. People who become a politician, you don't want becoming politicians. A lot of pastors don't want to work. Back in the olden days when we just discovered fire, Pearl, I wish you were there. A lot of pastors back in the day were trying to avoid the Vietnam War. You go to school to get a degree. No, it's true. You go to school, you get a degree in divinity, which is, I don't want to say it's bullshit. It does have a practical application, but it is the liberal arts. So it's not like, oh, I can't wait to go get a job at the divinity factory. Like, you are going to become a pastor, and that's about it. And a lot of it is ego. You ever see, it's the Clint Eastwood movie where he's in Detroit, Gran Torino. Have you ever seen that movie?
Mm-mm.
They paint the pastor there perfectly. He's this 26-year-old baby-faced kid. Clint Eastwood is this grizzled veteran from the Korean War. And this 26-year-old kid is trying to give Clint Eastwood, who I think in his time was late 70s, life advice. And it's like, no, I'm sorry. I don't trust a pastor unless he's got gray hair or served in war. If you're under 30, it is too academic. It's too idealistic. And a lot of people who go into the clergy, whether Christian or not, a lot of them are just egomaniacs who want to lord over people and have a flock to follow them.
Well, what's incredible is there's like criminals that become pastors, and like people with these crazy life stories. And I'm like, why would they be the one to nag me about the Bible? I'll pick anybody else.
I could understand a hardened criminal that saw poverty and horror and death and drug, but that's because you went through something. But you'd have to be like 40 or 45 years old and have your shit together otherwise. Like, oh yeah, and then I spend all my time like literally helping building buildings or something like that. So I want to slam all pastors or people of the cloth. But but yes, you can see, oh, I was a drug addict and I got clean. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna become a pastor. I'm gonna become a nonprofit worker. I'm become a therapist. It's like, why don't you all become accountants or like oil rig workers or some practical? No, it's always, let me tell everybody else. So I'll give the hardened criminal who, saw bad stuff I'll give them a little bit more credit. But hey, I'm sober. You know what? I think I'm going to help other people get sober. It's like, no, shut up. You just don't want to work. But you nailed it on the head. And surprise, a lot of these pastors who are cowardly when it comes to work ethic and doing hard work and real work, surprise, are they going to start quoting? I used to remember the numbers in the chapter. Are they going to quote the passages in the Bible like submit to your man? You have to have sex. They don't have the spine to work. They're not going to have the spine to stand up to feminism and even not feminine, the female parishioners say, hey, you got to hold up this end of the bargain. So it shouldn't surprise anyone that whether they're in the church or not, these, I guess we would call them false Christians or ulteriorly motivated Christian women, are taking advantage of the church because there's no pushback starting with the pastor.
So tell me more about your book. So you said that, how can you be pro-sex if you're also religious?
Well, you are all religions are pro-sex.
Sorry, I meant like how does a Christian guy date? Like, because there's a lot of guys that like they want to wait till marriage and do it the right way, but the market just doesn't allow for them to do that. So
What doesn't allow them to do that?
Well, it's just, they only have whores on the menu, right?
Oh,
It's like,
yeah. No, well, the book that's why I wrote it, is because Christian men in particular, but Christian women as well, they find themselves in a very difficult situation, especially if you're younger. And based on what I see on the internet, you have, and I'm simplifying it a lot, but you have a lot of people who have an ulterior interest in specifically men's Christian sex lives, Christians in general. And the largest factor I would say would be feminism, which even if girls are Christian, they are also part of society, and they just get that operating system installed on them, which then compromises or certainly makes more difficult for men and women to get together, certainly under biblical terms and rules and laws. And so what you find are these Christian men. I don't even know the husband's name of the Sarah gal.
Oh, yeah.
Well, he's innocent. I mean,
I know. But it's like the same thing, right? He tried to do it the right way.
Yes.
Yeah, and it didn't work. And so I think a lot of guys, they don't want to go to hell, right? Cause I've talked to like Christian guys about this. They don't want to go to hell. They don't want to have sex outside of marriage, but they also can't, like, what are they supposed to do?
Well, it's a catch-22, because what's essentially happening here is you have two different groups of people playing by two sets of rules. In this particular case, the girl was the secularist who's going to play by secular rules, but not Christian ones. And her husband presumably was very religious, and he was playing by the religious rules. And, you compare it to any kind of game. If I got to play by one set of rules, but you got to play by two sets of rules. So if we're going to play football, but you got to throw with your weak arm and you can only hop, whereas I get to run for yardage, you're going to have a harder time. Now, that's any religious person, whether you're Jewish or Muslim or Christian or whatever. You got your secular rules you got to obey, which is be in physical shape, ask out a lot of girls. Girls, you got to be in shape. You got to, flirt with guys. So those are your natural rules everybody plays by. But then religious people have this whole other set of rules depending on what their scripture happens to say. And most of them are like, no premarital sex. You got to save yourself for later. And there's many other rules, but that's kind of the key one right here, is where here's this guy. He's like, no, okay, I'm not going to have sex. I'm not going to have sex. And then she's just not a Christian. She's just been, it's worse. She's been using it and abusing it for personal gain.
Well, it almost goes off of, I think most guys, like if you're a religious guy, if she acts like a wife, you'll probably marry her. So if she doesn't act like it, it's kind of on her. Yeah.
But how does, and this is where not only do regular guys have an uphill battle when it comes, if you want to get married, right? It's already very difficult because frankly, women are not conditioned or trained to be wives or mothers. They're trained to be workers and taxpayers and everything else. So you already got a pretty big uphill battle. But then the Christian men, especially the no sex thing until marriage, and then finding a girl who actually believes in Christianity and follows those rules, which then also includes the submit to your husband, don't nag. Yes, you're supposed to have sex. Good luck finding that. And then the third thing making it incredibly difficult is just the number of posers in the church who aren't real and serious Christians. You can have, and there's so many variations in a spectrum where there's an actual fraud who does not believe a word of the Bible, but takes advantage of it. I won't mention certain retired porn stars. All right. But then they kind of believe more your cafeteria Christians. Well, yeah, I believe in Jesus on the cross, but I don't like this whole, submit to the husband thing.
Or have sex with him.
Or have sex with only him. But this guy, but this guy has really nice abs. So, and then the most cowardly, disgusting thing. And this is where I hate these people because they're not real Christians. Pearl, what do they say? What do they always say?
I can only submit to my husband when he submits to God.
No. Let's say the girl, I don't know, gets caught banging her boss.
No, he should have led her better.
No, forget the guy. It has nothing to do with the guy.
Okay.
What is the get out of jail free card for all Christians?
Oh,
You go murder a bunch of kids.
Oh, the devil tempted me into it.
No.
Oh, there's so many.
Didn't you go to Sunday school?
I went to Catholic school for 20 years.
And you don't know this?
Okay, well, all of those 3 were valid. All 3 of those were valid.
They're valid, but that's not the goat. They got a lever, Pearl. They got to lay these guys. Okay, let me paint the scenario. I'm going to give you one more over the plate. Okay, this is going to be underhand. All right. You are a guy. You go to the Christian singles group. Okay, and there obligatorily are the single moms. Okay, and they had kids out of wedlock. I'm not talking to the ones they got divorced. By the way, you shouldn't be getting divorced. That's another rule breaking thing. There they are, and they're choosing what they do and don't like about Christianity. Maybe I'll do a little bit of this, but not of that. And here she is. She was a drug addict and she abused her children. They don't have possession of the children anymore. What? Do the right thing and marry her? I bet the comments section is yelling. And here's Bob. He's the 36-year-old engineer he believes in Christ, real Christian. He goes up to Becky and she gives him this horror story. And he's about, I'm not going to deal with Becky. Becky's crazy. What is Becky going to say to Bob to make it all good? You can't judge me. Why can't she judge? Why can't he judge her? God can. Because Jesus. What's the foundation of all Christianity? Jesus died for our sins. Sins. Oh, that means he forgives. Oh, Jesus, and you're not without sin either. Well, and that too. Yeah. Then they throw that. I'm a woman, so it's like, right. You're not without sin either. Yeah. Jesus forgives, and the Lord has a plan. So they will go and what I would say is abuse that aspect of Christianity to sin and sin and sin and sin again. And that means that you have this gray area where, yeah, they're going to church. Yeah, they're even in Bible study. And maybe, but that at the end of the day, and look, I know temptation and sin and all that, and we're only human, but they got a lever there, man. And they're pulling it that the screws are coming out because it's all the Lord forgives, all the Lord for some pretty horrific shit. And so I do not envy these young Christian men looking for a Christian wife, because I got to estimate there's less than 5% of the gals in Western churches are authentic Christians. The rest are there on that spectrum where they're outright abusing the religion for capital gain or popularity, whatever, to the gray ones where it's like, okay, well, I cheated, but the Lord forgives. Why can't you forgive me? And at the end of the day, well, yeah, Christians should forgive it. It is like, or not deal with this bullshit to begin with. And the other thing too, because I was in a non-denominational church, and I didn't like how, one, they tell you can't date outside of your church, but it's all women in the church. So, and it's like, if you date a guy, I mean, this is just one church, so I don't know, but if you date a guy that's not in the church, you're supposed to bring him to church. And then the whole congregation's going to nag him to like lead and be super godly and stuff. Like, yeah, do you know what happened? I went on this like church retreat once, and it was all these old single women. And I'm like, I'm going to leave. I'm going to go find love elsewhere. Because I was like, I just don't think this is. And the thing is, all of the church elders want to be involved in the dating process. So you got all these people involved, and like, they're all really gossipy. Like you have to, if you want to date someone in the church, you have to approve it with the elders. I was like, this is weird. I got to go. Only because I dated a lot back in my past. And I did date Christians too. The advice I've given men for ages now, especially if they're Christian, I'm like, look, it's going to be easier to find a secular girl who's good and quality and all that and convert her than it is for you to find a prepackaged Christian girl, because the vast majority of people in the church are not Christians. They're posing. So already it's an odd thing, but you have a selection bias against finding a good Christian wife in the church because so few people are authentic. There's a higher chance they're lying. A secular girl who has no vested interest in being religious or not has no reason to lie about it. Well, I'm secular. And you can date I'm just trying to be practical, and whatever denomination or sect of Christianity. Oh, you can't date outside the church. Well, I don't know how you grow the church. I don't know how you do missionary work. But more practically, and that's what one of the things my book advocates is, you don't violate the rules or the laws of your church, but you have to be practical in the real world. And you're way better off dating a secular girl. And if things happen to go well, you say, look, I'm Christian. It's very important to me. But if we were to continue, I'm going to have you join the church. Are your chances all that much better? Not particularly in the United States, but they are better than going into the church. I think you're even more better off going, second, third world country where people actually have to suffer poverty and value other human beings and other people's time. But right now, the advice that churches are giving, especially within particular denominations and sects, where it's like, oh, we got to get involved, we got to gossip. It's like, no, if anything, they're lying, because the main reason they want to do that is they want to gossip and have entertainment. That's a lie. That's fraud.
And they want control over the marriage too. Like, you're not submitting to him, you're submitting to the church rules. Because what if the church says something that what if the husband says no to something and the church says yes? Well, you're supposed to seek counseling with the church, so you're obeying the church. Like, you're submitting to, I almost think sometimes they just put in hot pastors, and this is I have a theory. So because this wasn't the only church. I went to a few churches in Milwaukee at this time, and one of them just had this Chad pastor, and after the service, look, and there's a line of women talking to him, and I'm thinking, do you know what he probably does? He probably bangs all these women, and then after is you need to marry these hoes, right? Because he needs these guys in the church to clean up his left. It's kind of like what Elijah's doing, right? In a way, because he's banging the e-girls, right? And then he kisses the husband. I don't know if you heard, but Elijah was hooking up with this girl, right, while she was engaged to this other guy.
Right.
And then remember, he met the husband, kissed his head, and he's kind of known for hooking up with a lot of the e-girls, this Elijah guy.
Okay. He's a good looking guy.
Good looking guy, right? It's kind of, I keep trying to point out his roster was impressive. We got to at least be a little bit impressed. And regardless, I was thinking it's the same dynamic where I think a lot of the pastors, because they're on the stage and women love microphones. And so the women will throw themselves at the pastors. He'll bang them. And now he's like, I don't want to take care of these women the rest of their lives. So I need to get these men in the church to clean up. And that's where you fellas come in.
That's a stretch of a theory, because I don't think someone goes to seminary school for 6 years that says, I'm going to clean up at this local church. Plus you're shitting where you eat. However,
they shit where they eat all the time.
Well, and that does happen. Yeah, no, I've seen that happen.
It could just be the dynamic, right? Maybe it just is convenient, easy sex. It's convenient. He does it. Maybe it's not pre-planned. It just seems to kind of work out that way.
I used to teach dance classes in college economics, and yes, because you're up there, you're the situational alpha, you're on stage. That does definitely help. The thing is, though, once the girls graduated from college or people left my dance class, I could go do whatever I wanted with these girls. The church, I know it happens, but it's very short-sighted. I think they just had a good, I don't know if the head of that particular religion says, we need to start, what we're going to do for marketing is have some hot pastors and bring the girls in. Because I think they're all going to be focused on him and not the guy sitting next to her in the pew.
It could just be subconscious, right? I noticed at my gym, there's they have a bunch of model looking guys at the front. And I'm
at the church?
No, at the gym. I think they people just realize that attractive people are marketing. So if you why do you think they put a porn star in the front?
I don't know. I mean, it would depend on which sect or religion it is, but I'm sure it doesn't hurt marketing to have a really good looking pastor. I'm sure it's good.
Yeah. So who do you think they should have cheated with in this situation?
The girl?
Yeah. If she was going to cheat on her husband, is there an influencer that would have been a better pick?
I don't know to what aim?
To not get caught. To
not get caught.
Yeah.
Well, then don't do it with an influencer.
I was like, this is so stupid.
With her, it didn't matter who, because here's the thing: at the end of the day, she wasn't Christian.
Yeah.
This is a pretty, because I did see a couple of the tweets, and I'm like, oh, okay, maybe someone had a moment of weakness. And I'm like, no, you're a poser. It's a vile person we're dealing with. So why the facade? Well, to make money. So just admit you're not Christian. And don't abuse Christianity further if you don't actually believe in it, just to make it like, oh, but Jesus forgives and you should all forgive me. It's kind of spilled milk at this point. It's all become a public drama. But at her core, well, just go have sex with different men. Don't get married. What do you? Like, I'm not Christian. I didn't wait till I was married. You know, I didn't just stick with one gal. But I never claimed to be Christian in the first place.
So what how do you differentiate someone who believes it but they just fall in, that's what they always say, I fell into temptation, versus someone who doesn't believe it at all?
Everyone's tempted, but that's human. Boy, I'd have to sit and get to know the person for a bit. You know, like how you just hang out with someone and then they get accused of something. Like, there's no way. There's no way that person would whatever abuse a dog, right? It would take some time, but I would imagine you'd have to look at the free time. Like, okay, they go to church. Do they read the Bible? Have they read the Bible? Have you hung out with them enough that they have to make a choice where it could be a very minor moral question. I'm trying to think, like you're at the restaurant and you get your bill and there's a really nice metal pen they give you to sign the bill, like, and they pocket it. And you're kind of like, hey, what? That's their pen. The waitress needs that's a nice pen. You don't leave it like, they don't care. They got more. That's where I'd be like, okay, so it's very small and very minor, but like you don't have it. I'll give you another example. I don't like the IRS. I don't like taxes. But okay, here are the rules. Now it's more so I don't go to jail. But my girlfriend, who's an accountant, and my accountant who does that, my actual taxes, his name is Chad Elkins. They're really libertine with what they think that the tax deduction. And they say, well, you can write that off. I'm like, well, how can I write this off? And like, well, because of this. And they give me some obscure, very tangential. I'm like, yeah, I don't think that's going to fly in IRS agent's face. So when I save my receipts, like, is this actually a tax deduction? Or is there a logical way? Yes, it would be the same thing there. What are they doing when no one's looking? You know, you would be moral. And I would even argue you would be moral not out of fear of God or hell. You're moral because it's the right fucking thing, and that's what God wants you to do. And so I've seen very few people who do the right thing because they're like, right, like that. Well, no, you're right. I shouldn't take that ream of paper from the office. The office paid for that. I got to have some discipline, some rules. Like it's like the Continental and John Wick. You have to have some rules. So but how you assess that in an individual, it takes time spending time with them and see how they behave.
Yeah, I just meant like to the extent that, because that's kind of the argument that always comes back is, well, everyone sins, everyone has temptation. Like, because a lot of people after the scandal said, no, they both have a true faith. They just, fell into temptation.
I'm sick and tired of people abusing Christianity like that. I'm calling bullshit. Because it's so scripted. It's so, I don't know. You ever get a bullshit detector? You just kind of like, this is bullshit.
Yeah.
I don't see that. And maybe it's more the statistician in me where I look and Pearl, how come none of these girls are fat and ugly? Why are they all hot? All of these Christian influencers, they're all hot. They all got big tits and they got cleavage and they put a crucifix on a necklace right there. Why are they all hot? I won't lie. Statistically, I'm like, no, I don't trust you if you're a hot Christian girl on the internet with 50,000 plus followers. I don't believe you. You got here because of your looks and now this is just the shtick, right? Now I'll give her credit because I don't think she's claimed to be Christian, but she's got dyed blonde hair, and she always wears a pink 50s dress. She's got big cans.
I know what you're talking about.
Yeah, she's one of the first trad wife. I'm like, okay, she's not claimed to be Christian. She just dresses up, shows her bazooms, and she's like, oh my God, I made cookies or whatever she's doing. At least she's not, oh my God, I just love Jesus so much and this, and oh my God, and someday I think I'll find it. It's too much theater, too much acting. Under the brand of Christianity. So I just don't believe the hot 27. And here's another thing. If you're under 30, shut the fuck up about Christianity or philosophy or anything that requires life experience. I'm not listening to a 27-year-old teeny bopper having a discussion with another 27-year-old teeny bopper, neither of which who've ever worked a day in their life, talking about the morality of sex within Christianity. It's like, shut up and make some cookies. All right. So these kind of tells and these stereotypes, the physiognomy of the entire, all of it, I'm just like, nah, something stinks to high heaven here.
Yeah, no, I think you get that gut feeling, but you don't know how to articulate it a lot of the time. It's a lot of just like it was just incredible. The reason my title today is "Why Can't Modern Women Shut Up?" is that why did she go out of her way to tell everyone she was waiting till marriage? If she didn't make a big spectacle of everything, this just would have been another scandal. Like it kind of like this would have gone away within 48 hours. Like water is wet, the sky is blue, people fuck at work. You know, that just people cheat on their spouses, that happens. But because she went on all these shows talking about how she was a virgin, telling everybody she was waiting till marriage, that draws so much attention to it. I'm like, why would you do that?
Because her motivation wasn't Christ. Her motivation was profit.
I know.
That's what it was.
I know.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden, but you're not going to play by those rules, and then you go have an affair. I think people hate the hypocrisy.
Yeah, I know.
Like Skunk Beard guy, I forget his name. He was all Mr. Christian and all that, and then they found out he had sex tapes or whatever, and maybe he was into gay porn. No one would have cared if he had sex tapes. No one would have cared if you were gay. But you use this brand name called Christianity to profit from it, and you've insulted everybody posing as one. So I think that's the main complaint.
Here, look at this.
Hi, I'm Sarah Stock. I'm 20. I'm from Newport Beach. I'm single. I've never had a long, serious relationship or anything. I've had like 2 pretty short relationships and a lot of first dates kind of thing.
How many?
I got a question.
You've had?
But can you pause it?
Yeah, pause.
What's with Asian Kaiser over there? What's with Wilhelm von Chicky Babe with the German hat?
I don't know. She just she's cool. I like her, but it's like, why is that? What the tits out with the Jesus cross? It's just diabolical.
Wait, does she actually? Oh, she does. Is there a Christian crucifix?
Yeah, there's a cross right there. They do this all the time, and it's not that like that's the worst outfit ever, but it's just like that's lower the top than I would wear. You know what I mean? Like, and I'm not even religious. It's like, why?
Would a real Christian woman go on the Whatever podcast?
No, I mean, I know a housewife near me, like, who really does believe it. And no, I've tried. She's hilarious. So I've tried for years to get her to go on my show, and she won't.
I think there is some unspoken etiquette and decorum required of actual Christian women. I know they say, do not lead in the church, that kind of thing. And the argument could be made, the internet has kind of become a more modern church, or certainly a physical church. Maybe not the sermon, maybe not the pastor, but there is a digital sense of church or digital Christianity. And at the same time, I don't want women to not have the right to say their opinions or voice their opinions. But these influencers, consciously or not, started to take on a kind of pastoral role and certainly start influencing and leading, whether they're aware of it or not. And I think it requires a little bit of, I think you even posted it. There was a gal who was an Orthodox, which you think, okay, those guys are pretty legit. And she dressed herself in some kind of Virgin Mary garb and posed as a picture of her praying in the church. And it was centered on her. It's like, lady, it ain't about you. Go ahead.
I think that the standard has to be, you have to have raised 2 kids or something, and they have to be good people as a woman.
Yeah.
Like, to be a certain level of like, I don't know. And they like, I don't know how to put it. Like, because if you're religious, then you would have gotten married and had kids, like, unless you did the nun stuff. So you'd have to be like, I think you'd have to be, I agree with you, over a certain age. I don't want to hear shit. I agree with you. Yeah.
In general, but, and somebody who's more biblically researched than I am probably says, yeah, there's some rules and etiquette and decorum that Christian women have to follow. This shit ain't it. going on the whatever pot, like if you were a Christian mother or I was a Christian father and this was my daughter, I say, come here, we're having a chat right fucking now. Like this in general is not acceptable going on there and acting as, unless you're arguing the merits of Christianity, but I'm having a feeling this is just for attention and marketing.
Yeah, no, I mean, she is going on and arguing the merits of Christianity, but with her boobs out.
No idea, to be honest.
More than 10, more than 20, more than 30?
I don't know. Probably around 20 over my life.
Okay.
20 dates?
What's the longest period of time that you've dated a guy?
Like 2.5, 3 months, I think.
Would you call it a situationship?
No.
Have you ever called somebody your boyfriend?
Yeah.
You're also religious, correct?
Yeah, I'm a Christian.
Are you waiting until marriage?
Yep.
Have you always waited till marriage?
Yes.
You both are virgins, is that correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
No shame, just
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah, incredible.
Do those guys get paid enough?
The who?
The host of the whatever podcast, like, does Andrew get hazard pay when he goes on? Because
they make
afterwards.
They make good money. Do you know that's why I stopped doing the panel shows? Though I was like, there's no money. That's enough to argue with women 4 to 7 days a week, depending on the day.
I can't do it. I've been on which I'm grateful that people have invited me on it, but man, I'm good for about 10 minutes, but then I gotta leave.
Did you see this one? Let me show you this. It was incredible. Did you see this?
I can't see it because of my old eyes.
I see this clip.
All right.
And why you would do that as a man.
So do you remember the e-girl war?
No.
Okay. Yeah, you have a job. Okay, so I started a beef with Sarah Stock because I have this thing where I point out trends on my channel, and the trend was I'll always quote tweet women that post their marriage, their family, kids, whatever. And
sure, props.
Conservative women always use their family to build their brand, or their boyfriend, their husband, whatever it was. So I quoted her engagement ring and I said, conservative women will always use their marriage to build their brand. And she crashed out. She's like, Pearl, if you stop banging black guys, maybe you would. Like, I'm like, hey, Dominican. My boyfriend is not black. He's Dominican. and anyway, so this whole thing blew up. Then this other girl comes in and is like, the ring is too small. And then this other girl came in. And then this other girl came in, was like, you got finger blasted in the lobby. And I'm like, Morgan, you have a video on HPV. Like, you have a video about how you have HPV. Like, I don't know if you're one to really slut shame right now. And then it just got bigger and bigger and bigger, right? And then she's like, Pearl, you have AIDS. And I'm like, I do not have AIDS.
See, but
and so, like, yeah, I know.
This is why, no, seriously, this is why maybe women should be quiet in the church.
I know.
This is not womanly Christian-like behavior. Tell you, bitch, you got AIDS or whatever. Like, my God.
I know. So this started this whole war, right? And this is them covering it on the show. Now, mind you, at the time, the guy talking is sleeping with Sarah Stock.
This guy on the top right.
On the top right. This is the guy in the scandal. Now, just listen to how they're talking about me while they're doing what they're doing. It's just incredible.
Question why you would do that as a man, but as a woman, I think the reason why that's the case, Pearl, is because some women actually have families. That's unfortunate. I'm just saying, maybe if you had one too, you would also, perhaps be doing that.
Which I think she's angling for.
Question why you.
And I'm like, it's incredible because now none of us do. Welcome to the club.
Were you even on that show, or was he talking?
No, he was just talking shit. And the whole time they're just like, oh my God, it was like a log thing about how I don't have a family and they have one. And like, I'm like, how are you this egotistical when you're cheating on your wife with this girl? And then he asked me to debate her and said he would moderate it. And he's like, oh, it'd be fair. I like you both. And I'm like,
so it is theater.
What in the fucking setup is this? You wanted to moderate a debate with me and your side chick? Like, that would be fair?
So, but it is theater then.
Yeah,
right?
It's theater because I just told, and then one of the top like conservative guys is like, no, they have a true faith. And I'm like, you've got to be kidding me.
Are any of those people on that stage over 30? at that moment in time they were recording?
Yeah, I think so. I think I can look up his age. I think he's
No, it's all right. You're talking about, I'm not Christian, but if you believe in the God Almighty, right, and everything that's in the Bible, and you're serious about this, and then you use it and you wipe your ass with it to go and have, like, go back to the video. You don't even have to play it. Just pull it up.
Let me go back here. This one. Oh wait.
Why is it so colorful and loud and a spectacle? Is this about Christianity? Are all these people Christians on this panel?
No, they just use it. It's just a talk show.
It's
But
just a talk show.
Yeah, but they use it to like win arguments. They put it in their Instagrams. It's like whenever they're losing an argument, it's just like, but Jesus, but I'm married. I'm credible because I'm married. It's like,
I just the spectacle. It seems a bit much for humble Christians, right? For penitent Christians, it seems
I
a little
love
too.
I love the way you're analyzing this. Okay, keep going.
Well, but just because, all right, step back. Let's see. We didn't know anything about this, right? We don't know who that is. I look at this. I'm saying, like, this is some washed up jock who got injured his first year playing for a C-level team, and now they're analyzing some kind of sports analysis show. And then I find out these are people having a real conversation about something important. Okay, no, you don't, because you're not old enough. Do you remember the McLaughlin group? No. William F. Buckley Jr. You had serious people having serious discussions, and you have to wear a suit. And Eleanor Clift would wear a dress, and I think it was an old Pat Buchanan would come. This looks like this is theater. This is clown and circus and act show.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you should have a funeral dirge playing in the background all the time, but this looks to me like the CW or ESPN, which I'm trying to have. So it is background. And where'd you get the money for that stuff? That's a nice microphone. They even got ads on the microphone there. What is the riff? How did they have that backdrop? There's some serious money. So because there's serious money in this infrastructure and investment, I'm going to imagine everything was primarily motivated by profit, which I'm fine making money off of stuff. But if you guys were to find out I was not, in fact, a libertarian, but a communist, and I was just doing this for shtick, I should lose my entire audience. So I think there's a lot, we're getting back to that thing. Well, how do you tell? This seems like Jesus wouldn't have this much flash and cash around him. It just wouldn't happen.
Damn. Yeah, I agree.
We solved it. Did we solve all the problems?
No, I think that
now we can just...
No, I was just thinking that was really accurate. That was a good point. No, because I think a lot of people feel this way, but we can't articulate why. Do you know what I mean? Like, so you did a really good job of articulating why it is we feel like this.
In defense of Christians, why should they have to say what's up with? Why is there something wrong? Right? Why am I getting it? Why it should be a personal relationship between you and Christ, and a relationship.
I've been saying. Sorry, keep going.
But and then within your own fellowship in your community of your church, maybe you play rival softball against the other church across town, or say this should not be, your religion should not be splattered on the internet, and it should not be made an entertainment thing, and it shouldn't be. Who are the two girls where they were salivating over a Catholic priest and saying men don't need sex?
Oh my gosh. Yeah, Lila Rose.
Okay, Lila Rose. And wasn't there another gal there, or
I don't remember her name. It was something I've heard of. Yeah, but I know what clip you're talking about.
You're going to, for clicks, you're going to dismiss the male sex drive for clicks. You're going to say some under the guise of Christian, because is she a Christian podcaster?
Catholic podcaster.
Okay, that's the thing. And you're going to say something incendiary as men don't need sex. Your motivation is not Christ. Your motivation is clickbait.
Is there a way to do a Catholic or Christian podcast without where you wouldn't feel that way?
Yes. God, and I'm not Christian, so I don't watch them. I got to imagine there are some sincere, real Christian podcasts out there that would just basically take on the role of like a Sunday school or a Bible study rather. I have the rights to podcast pastor. I've had it for like 12 or 15 years now, where I thought it'd be great for just pastors to do sermons on the internet, but pastors aren't the greatest businessmen. Regardless, I think there are some serious podcasts out there, but how would you know them? Because this is so much more flashy and scintillating, and oh my God, there's whores in the church. Oh, like click. And meanwhile, there's probably just some Mortimer Hopschlutz out in Nebraska who does a regular podcast and it's really good, but we wouldn't know about it because there isn't big-breasted cleavage crucifix whores on the show.
Yeah, because it's in a way, it's a tough position because it's like the flashy stuff gets clicks and views. But if you cared about God, then it wouldn't matter to you.
Well, and it shouldn't. And I've listened, I'm not Christian, but I listened to some, he's a Calvinist, R.C. Sproul. I like some of his stuff, but there's not like people in the chat where he's dead, but he has some of his stuff in his sermons and his speeches on converted to MP3. So I think people are finding it out there. And I think real Christians are looking and say, this is a nightmare. This is a dead branch or a false branch of Christianity. This is theater. But I don't know why you'd listen to it. I think here's another thing. It's all younger people kind of interacting and responding to this. The 60-year-old ain't paying attention to this.
Yeah, no, that's totally true.
Yeah.
That's completely true. Well, thanks for coming on, Cappy. It's a pleasure as always. Where can they get your book?
They can get my book on Amazon. It's searchable now. The title is I Don't Want a Threesome with Jesus, The Christian's Guide to a Pro-Sex Marriage. It wasn't, just so you know, it wasn't about, these dirty, fake Christian girl influencer whores. It wasn't that. They're only one part of it, but it is a basically cut out the background and the politics and everything else to say, what does the Bible say about sex and your obligations to each other? And I think it's kind of like this permission slip or a green light say, and there's no shame in wanting to have sex. Here are the rules you got to follow. And so for young men particular, because so many people are going to be hoodwinking you, using sex to get you to commit. But then the worst part is you end up in a sexless marriage. So that's the book. I Don't Want a Threesome with Jesus. And you should be able to just search that on Amazon. You should be able to find it.
Yeah. And honestly, guys, Aaron is like one of the best authors I've ever read. Even if you're not a big reader, he makes it so simple and so easy to read and just gets right to the point and does not waste your time like at all. There's like no fluff in his book. So you should really go get it.
Thank you.
Thanks for coming on, Cappy.
Thanks, Pearl.
All right, I got to go, guys. God is great. Now give me some money. All right. Well, guys, thanks for watching. God doesn't like religion either. I don't know. I love you guys. Thank you for supporting me. And I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.